Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. And today we're going to talk about Peter's Book Club. This little book club that I started, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. And it has turned into something that I totally didn't expect. I really honestly thought that like 50 people might sign up for it and do it, and we would kind of read a couple books and maybe that would be it. It was always my dream to be part of a book club, but social anxiety has kept me from like actually going and showing up to a book club. So I never did it, right? So I thought one day I was just sitting around here. I'm such like an ideas guy that I was like, I'm gonna start a book club. I'm gonna start an online book club. And so I did, and I started Peter's Book Club because my channel is called Peter Likes Books, so it just made sense. And I put it up on Goodreads, and I did a video over here, and I really didn't think it would turn into anything, and now it's like we're at like 740 members or something, which is so cool. It's fantastic, thank you. I think we've read like 6 or 7 books now. It was every 2 weeks, and now we've moved it to every 3 weeks. And so I even have an assistant now. Oh my God. My assistant is Mel. She is fantastic. She is also a moderator of the group on Goodreads. So if you'd like to follow her, go over there and follow her or friend request her on Goodreads. I asked her today, we talked on the phone, I said, do you accept friend requests? She's like, yeah, I accept everybody. So go over there and friend request her. She's awesome. And yeah, I could not do this club without her. Recently, I've gotten comments from people and they're like, I wish Peter was more active in the book club threads on Goodreads. And I'm so busy with so many different things. Y'all know, I've always got my, hand in something. So last night I went on there and I tried to get a little bit more active on the threads. So I'm gonna try to take 1 or 2 days a week, or whenever I'm reading something, I have something to say, and put it over there on the threads. Thank you for suggesting that. I wanna be active in that. But other than that, we read a book about every 2 to 3 weeks, and then I talk about it in between sometimes, and then I also do a live stream at the end where anybody can guest and come in there and talk with me about it as well. And then we also, I do like a spoiler review, so you guys can hear what my real thoughts are about these things. So, the book that we are currently reading is Diana Rowland's My Life as a White Trash Zombie. I didn't really know what to expect going into this, and let me read you the back of it. Angel Crawford is a loser, living with her alcoholic deadbeat dad in the swamps of southern Louisiana. She's a high school dropout with a pill habit and a criminal record who's been fired from more crap jobs than she can count. Now on probation for a felony, it seems that Angel will never pull herself out of the downward spiral her life has taken. That is until the day she wakes up in the ER after overdosing on painkillers. Angel remembers being in a horrible car crash, but she doesn't have a mark on her. To add to the weirdness, she receives an anonymous letter telling her there's a job waiting for her at the county morgue. And that it's an offer she doesn't dare refuse. Before she knows it, she's dealing with a huge crush on a certain hunky deputy and a brand new addiction, an overpowering craving for brains. Plus, her morgue is filling up with the victims of serial killer who decapitates his prey just when she's hungriest. Angel's going to have to grow up fast if she wants to keep this job and stay in one piece, because if she doesn't, she's dead meat, literally. Okay, I didn't really know what to expect going into this book. I had heard some other reviews about it and stuff like this, but this book is fantastic, okay? Diana Rowland creates this character of Angel Crawford that is unlike anything I've ever read before, and she's very, very unique, but as funny as the backstory is, the story is pretty, I would say, it gets kind of deep on some levels. It talks about alcoholism, it talks about family addiction, it talks about codependency, it talks about loyalty and friendships and things like that. And she also changes through the course of this book. Like, she really does grow up. At the beginning of the book, she has kind of like a deadbeat boyfriend, and it changes. I'm currently on chapter, I think, 23. Chapter 23, 192 I'm on out of 310 pages. It's really good. It's a very fast read. On this, it says there's 3 books in the series, but I think there's 6 books total in the series. So many people that have already finished it have told me that they've already started reading the next ones, and they like it just as well. So, the live stream for this, if you haven't started it and you want to catch up, is on September 9th, which is a week from yesterday. Excuse me. So, that's the book that we're going to be discussing in that one. Now, I talked today to Mel, my assistant, for a very long time. I have the new updated reading list. Now, the reason that we updated it was we wanted to read scary books around Halloween. I know Spookathon is going on during that, and there was other Halloween-based readathons. So we wanted to do something similar to that. we wanted to do like scary books, but we didn't want them to be like, I don't know, just like straight on scary. And we also didn't want to do 2 true crime books back to back. I have to say, out of all of the books we've read in the book club so far, I'll Be Gone in the Dark, which is the telling of the Golden State Killer, it's probably been the book that most people have been invested in reading, which I think is interesting. So, and I loved that book as well. And it was really fun to have discussions about that book. So we really thought about that going forward. Now, the next book that we're going to read on September 9th, I mean, we revamped the entire list. We have it going all the way through the middle of January. So, this is up on Goodreads. Mel just texted me. I said, can you text me as soon as you have it up? She updated it. So when you go to the link below for the book club, it takes you there, and there's a thread that says updated reading schedule. This is the reading schedule through January. I really can't see this changing because she and I really talked like at length about each book that we wanted to pick in there. So I'm going to kind of explain to you why we picked each book. So on September 9th, we are going to continue to read, we're going to keep it at Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. A very close friend of mine who loves this book recommended this book to me. She's been very supportive in all of my booktube endeavors. So I want to keep this book on there. Plus, what is going on with this one hairdo? Can we just talk about Peter's, oh my Lord, Peter's Labor Day hairdo. That's why I have a hat on. So anyway, because I love her so much, I want to keep that book on there. Plus, I want to read it. I've never read it before. Now, 9:30, September 30th, will be the next live stream after the Hitchhiker's Guide. That's when we'll talk about that one. And then so for every day, for every time we do a live stream, that's also the day that we start the next book. So the next book that we'll be starting on September 30th is Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. I think that's who it's by. And it's a true crime kind of like retelling kind of. It is, I've heard, so fantastic. Go check it out. I don't want to tell you more than that, but it's about the World Fair and a serial killer at the same time, a real serial killer that existed. So go check it out. I've heard it's fantastic. I'm really, really excited about it. All of these books that we picked, we looked on Books A Million and Half Price Books and Thrift Books and Barnes & Noble and Audible and everywhere. And all of these books are available on all formats, Kindle, all that kind of stuff, libraries as well. I really wanted to pick some books from 2018 and read some current reads, but Mel pointed out to me that a lot of people get their books from the library and that then they'll be on a waiting list, and so I didn't want to do that. So we kind of picked some books that shouldn't be that hard to get. The next book, which will be our Halloween kind of book, and I started talking to her about this because I said so many people have recommended this book to me. I don't really know anything about it except for that it's very kind of spooky, stalker-ish. We had some other ideas. We were going to read a classic, and then I said I don't really want to read a classic. And then we were going to do a true crime novel because Mel thought that was a good idea, and I agreed. But I was like, I don't know that I want to do 2 true crime novels back to back. Some people won't like that. So on October 14th, we will be reading, which will take us through Halloween, You by Carolyn Kepnes. I have heard really great things about this. This book has been recommended to me so many times. It's about this girl that, like, this guy kind of, like, falls in love with her stalkerish and then, like, puts himself supposedly in all these places that she is. Anyway, it's supposed to be fantastic. And then on November 4th, we're going to read Franny and Zoe by J.D. Salinger. A lot of people out there, other than Catcher in the Rye, haven't read anything by Salinger. I think this is a really good book. I read it, I mean, it's been like 25 years since I've read it, so I'm excited. I don't remember really anything about it. It is a little bit more expensive on some of the websites, but you can get it on Kindle or Nook or those kinds of things as well. So, Franny, and I know that they'll have it at a library. I know they will. So, Franny and Zoe is for November 4th is the book that we'll read. And then we're getting into the holiday season, and I wanted to kind of pick books that were somewhat Christmas themed, but I know everybody doesn't celebrate Christmas, or not everybody celebrates Christmas, so I wanted to pick something a little bit different. So I kind of... It was hard because I wanted to read some books that were holiday themed, but weren't. So I tried to do middle of the road. So anyway, so bear with me. So the week of Thanksgiving, 11/25, we're going to start by reading David Sedaris's Holidays on Ice. I have never read it. I want to read it. It gets really mixed reviews. Like, some people give it 1 star and say it's horrible. Other people give it 5 stars and say it's like absolutely the most hilarious book they've ever read. I love his sister, Amy Sedaris. I don't think I've ever read anything by David Sedaris. I've read like a short story or 2 or, you know, memoir or whatever. I've heard him on NPR, but I've never read an entire book of his before, so I'm excited about reading this. And that's what we're gonna read the week of Thanksgiving. Plus, okay, it's kind of supposed to be very, very depressing humor, dark humor, which I think is perfect for the week of Thanksgiving. So, okay. And then on 12/9, this will be our Christmas book that we're gonna read. We are gonna read Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle. Now, bear with me, okay? This is a young adult book. We have not read any young adult books on this book club. I love, except for V.C. Andrews, but I don't know if you even count that. I love young adult books. I'm an avid reader of them. So I said to Mel, I said, because she's like, I don't really read young adult. And I said, okay, but I do think that we need to put one young adult book on our reading list. And so I said, I think this would be like a middle of the road book to read. It's good. Plus, for those people who have their kids home from school or their kids home from college and they want to do a reading club book together with them, maybe they could do Let It Snow as a family book. So I know that sounds corny, but you know, like if you have a daughter or son or whatever and you guys love to read together, maybe this is the time you could read a book together and you could do it for the book club. I'm just suggesting. So I've had it in my basement for 2 years and I've never read it. I actually just brought it up today because I was thinking about it. So that is the book that we're gonna read on 12/9 going into Christmas, okay? And it's like, you know, it's a John Green book, basically. I mean, when you read the back of it, it sounds like a John Green book. By the way, I ran into John Green the other day. He was meter parking right in front of my office, and I was like, and I'm like sitting there and I'm looking at him, right? And I'm like, and he smirked at me, and like this never happens. Like never. Whenever I've seen him, because I live in Indianapolis and so does he. He like just, I mean, he is like oblivious to anything around him. And I was like, oh my God, he's like smirking at me. Like maybe he knows me from booktube or something, or YouTube. And so then I got inside my office and I looked in the mirror and I was like, he's smirking at your stupid hat that says icon on it. But anyway, he does drive a beautiful car, I'll say that. Okay. Then the next thing was the book that we're going into New Year's for. And I wanted to pick a book that, I don't know, was somewhat profound, somewhat kind of like a prolific novel going into 2019 that would have some kind of effect on us. So I wanted to do something, either just fiction that was like mind-changing attitudes, or something that I heard that was really introspective or something like that. Okay, so I watched a documentary of hers, about her, and I became very intrigued with her whole life. And she's written, I mean, many, many books. So we picked, and Mel, as soon as I said it, she's like, oh, I think that's a good idea. We picked Joan Didion's The Year of Magical Thinking. And it talks about marriage and, you know, divorce and kids and raising kids and being a parent. And she's just such an authentic writer. If you've ever read anything by her, I've only read some of her like essays, but she's just such an authentic writer with what she writes. It's so raw and vulnerable that I'm really excited. It's not a long read. It's easy to get anywhere. So I'm excited about that. We're going to read Joan Didion's The Year of Magical Thinking going into 2019. And then on January 20th, which will be the next book, we're going to read Slaughterhouse-Five. I've never read a Vonnegut book. He was my mother's favorite author. Because so many people have already bought the book, because we had it on the reading list for November, we're going to keep it on there, and that will be the first book that we read in January. And yeah, so this is the reading list. It's already updated on Goodreads. You can go check it out. The link is below. I am going to really, really try to be more active in what's going on Goodreads and the threads, and do more videos with this and stuff like that, because I'm having such a good time with this reading club. The other thing is, we will probably, I mean, Mel and I will talk a lot between now and then, but we'll probably come up with the next reading list for January and November, so people can start like buying their books, or if you want to ask for books for the holidays or things like that. So we'll probably come up with the next reading list of books starting in January. If you guys have recommendations that you want, I know that there are threads over there for book recommendations. Feel free to go put them over there. I read those to see what people are suggesting. And the thing is, I try to find books that I think might be interesting to everybody, or some people, if that makes sense. I don't want to pick books that everybody's going to look at and be like, why the hell did Peter pick this book? Nobody's going to care. So, yeah. So I'm real excited about the books that we picked. Thank you so much to Mel. It was fun. And please join the group and friend request me on Goodreads. I accept everybody's friend requests, and let's read together. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.